Hey guys, alrighty. So tonight is the BOJ meeting. We are going to potentially get a rate hike. It'd be the first time that the Bank of Japan, I think it's since like 2017, I want to say, but don't quote me on that, that will have no longer have negative interest rates. The reason this is such a big deal is what these big money funds do is they buy the yen, which is at a negative interest rate, and then they can convert that to whatever currency they want, and then they can invest that into the market. And essentially, what they're doing is they're buying negative interest loans, and then that allows them to invest. And it's a really, really big deal. It's called the reverse carry trade. So essentially, that's going to end tonight potentially. That's a major deal. So we saw the first time they talked about this was July 27th, 2023. That day we had a really, really negative reaction. And we actually did, if you remember, from July through October, we actually saw downside in the market. The market did sell off. We had a nice correction during that time period. However, what happened in October was the BOJ actually balked. They did not hike like we thought they were, or like they told us they were going to. That meeting came about 2 days before this massive 5 month rally that we're in right now started. So right now, my theory is if we started the rally because of the Bank of Japan not hiking, if the Bank of Japan does hike, that is going to end this rally, and I believe it is going to start a major correction in this market. And the day after that, Wednesday, we will get our own FOMOC meeting. And I have a very, very strong feeling with this uptick in inflation that Jay Powell is, and the dot plot, most important, the dot plot, is going to pull back on rate cut expectations. They are no longer going to expect 3 rate cuts. They very well might expect no rate cuts with this tick up in inflation. We're not even down in the twos right now. We haven't been able to break below 3%. There's no way Jay Powell is going to rate cut unless something breaks. So looking at SPY here on Friday, we put a nice doji candle. We got the hard 20 EMA bounce like I thought we might get. But then again, we put another doji, a failed breakout candle here. So this is a potential shooting star right here where we're going to have a major, major drop. We have 507.96 to 510.44 as our triple demand support. Close under that, and we're looking at a major downside move here. Now, a negative 2% days puts us right about 502 here. 3% puts us right down about here. It's been a long time since we've had that kind of negative day, but it is very, very possible that we could see that. Now, to the upside here, if we do break out, if they don't hike for whatever reason, or the market just doesn't care, then we got 517.16, our kind of almost triple supply. We got 4 hard rejections off that area. If we don't close over that, I still like the downside. Now, close over that, we're looking at all-time highs. Going over to ES here, so same thing here. So we did not get a new demand here either. I will go back to this real quick. And the weird thing about SPY was we actually had stronger sellers today. So we closed up 0.6% despite stronger daily sellers. That is a big oddity. Now, looking at ES here, again, we did not get a new demand here either, but you can see 52.39. This is our 5th rejection in 7 days off that level. We were not able to put in a new demand, and we were not able to break over that. We couldn't even close over this level, and this gives us a really high potential double top rejection, much, much lower. So if we drop, we got 51.58 as our downside target, and then 50.71. If, again, we break out, we got 52.39 close over that, we're looking at all-time highs. Now, the Qs was a little odd today, too, because we actually did get a new demand at 433.85. The weird thing about that is, again, we had stronger daily sellers. We actually had 10 days of selling in a row now on the Qs. First time since October, right around that time period of the Bank of Japan. And this is the first time we've had 4 days of back-to-back-to-back stronger sellers since December of 2022, or 2023, sorry. So that's a big deal. This is a big, big change in the market. The fact that we're actually holding up and seeing that is pretty impressive, to be honest. Same thing here. After our bounce, we have a new doji reversal to the downside, failed breakout. Kind of see that candle right here. I would not be surprised to see us under 433.85. And again, our downside, if we're looking at a 2% downside here, You know, you got all the way down here right about 428. 3% puts us right there, right at that 424.44 area. So again, this is kind of our target for tomorrow. If again we break out, then we're looking at 443.75 and then all-time highs if we can close over that level. Going over to NQ here, we did not get a new demand. Same thing, we still had sellers today. They did weaken slightly, but we had sellers. Now, same thing here, we have the potential for a failed recovery, double top and drop lower. 18,038's first critical support, and then we're looking at 17,853 and 17,581. Now the VIX is interesting, as you can see here, all the way back to December. We have not closed a lower low. We are continuing to put in new support every single time and push higher and higher, with the most recent time being last Wednesday at 13.72. With this Bank of Japan move overnight, I'm honestly surprised that the VIX even closed red today. I would have expected, with markets knowing that rate hike is potentially coming tonight, that we would have seen some hedging for that, some long-term puts being put on, which obviously causes the VIX to go up. Remember, the VIX trades off 28 DTE. Now again, 0 DET can make that different. If the big money knows this is going to be a big red day, they might have just played 0 DTE. You know, we're seeing the big money play those short-term 0 DTE now, and the VIX isn't moving as much as it used to. So again, I'm looking for a big move on the VIX tomorrow, though. You know, if we get a 10% breakout here, we could be back over this critical double supply at 15.55 to 15.84. If we don't break out over that, then again, we got 13.72. If we get our first lower close, which would be below 13.72, then we might actually see a major breakout in the markets here. Going over to the dollar here, last week we put in support and demand at 102.786. After that, we have a nice V bottom. We had a V bottom channel here, and we actually broke through resistance of that channel. That's a pretty major breakout sign, and a lot of times when we see that, that means there's a bigger breakout coming. Our downward channel here, we touched it and we're holding right at that resistance right now. I would expect a pretty major move up on the dollar tomorrow with this this move from the Bank of Japan. We got 103.777 and 104.144 as targets. However, again, if the dollar drops, then we got 102.786 support to watch. Same thing on the 10-year. 10-year has had a really nice bounce here. You can see, you know, realistically, the 10-year all the way back to December, we are in a pretty strong upward move. Right now, after gathering support last week at 4.085% to make that demand, we are right back up in our triple supply and resistance area from all the way back here in February. So that's 4.303 to 4.33%. If we can break through, and we're right there, and again, once this Bank of Japan news hits, likely we're going to see a major move up on the 10-year, and then of course with FOMC the day after that, you know, we'd be looking at maybe 4.4 here. We could even go all the way up to 4.473 to 4.491%, depending on obviously what the market does with this Bank of Japan news. So, you know, my expectations overnight is that we're going to see a lot of movement if the Bank of Japan does hike, especially if we get that like 0.1%. You know, they might just go 0%, but most likely, I'd assume, because the reasoning is pretty much inflation, they'll probably go to 0.1%. We are probably going to see a very, very negative move in the markets. I would not be surprised to see one of the reddest openings on futures that we have seen in a very long time. However, if they do not hike, then very well, we're probably going to just see a massive green move, and we're probably going to just break out into FOMC, and then we'll go from there. But, you know, I expect a lot of volatility overnight. It will be very interesting to see how this plays out for sure. But I hope you guys had a good day trading today, and I will see you guys tomorrow.